And I'm going to rearrange my monitors. And we are going to see if we can fix things. Okay, so how do there we go. I got to relearn how to fix this. Good grief. Oh boy, this is going to look disgusting. So, that's a problem. I didn't come prepared, my friends. Let's see. CCT, you're here, aren't you? Saw you earlier. I hope you are still here. Yeah, well, the pre-show, I guess, is one way of putting it. This was actually the main show, and we're going to do the DraftKings now. So one last everybody, and then I'll separately ping him because he needed it. There we go. Okay, so is there anybody here who would be able to record this? Just asking. If not, there's no problem. It'll go unrecorded. Yeah, Alan, if you could let me know, just because, huh?
CCT is also recorded in the past, was offered to, and he's present.
Yeah, but he didn't. CCT, are you there, and are you able to? If not, there's no worries. Chad's here. Good, awesome.
Here's Johnny.
All right, let's go ahead. Where's Kev? Is Kev here? Kev's here. Yes. Come on board, Kev.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
So, what we're going to be doing here is us four are going to draft 10 alliances each. And this is going to be preferably out of the top 50 alliances, for the simple reason that going below that makes no real sense. And it also makes working with the treaty web far more complicated. Yeah. No, Anunnaki is not worth anybody's time, Lachlan. So,
really, I'd rather take something like an OB. Is OB top 50? I'm forgetting.
Anunnaki. So, Kev, Anunnaki, there's a whole lot of drama with them, just micro garbage, but it has really boiled over into a lot of people's business. So, Alan, would you be able to record? I don't see CCT present. Awesome. Let me know when you start if you haven't already. This way I know that we're all good here. Oh, CCT has been recording. Never mind. We're awesome. Okay. So, who's playing change up? Anyone can. The first round is going to be Kev, me, Chad, and Thalmoria, just to kind of show everybody the ropes.
Yeah, sure.
So
first, like, what's going to be the order for draft order for this one?
Yes, draft order for this one is going to be determined by a random number generator. Here we go. So, we're going to run 1 through 4 here. And there we go. So the first pick's going to go to Kev. Congratulations, Kev.
Thanks, everybody.
Second pick goes to, hold on, this is going to be the order we run through completely. So give me 1 second to finalize it. Second pick's going to go to Thalmoria. And third pick is going to go ahead. We'll give it to Chad. So I'll go last. So all we're going to be doing here, so I can explain, this is only, you're just picking one alliance at a time. So this way, there's nobody that's going to submit like 10 alliances and take the entire top 10. It's just one by one by one. Is Change Up listening to the... He's not, is he?
Nope.
No.
Well, someone can either tell him or he can be left in the dark. That's up to him either way. So first we're going to have Kev's picks, then we're going to have Thalmoria's picks, then Chad's picks, and these will be edited and grow as we go, and then my picks. So, Kev, more or less, remember, you can do, this can be, you're just building a meme, or this can be, you're taking it seriously and you're going and you're trying to build the best sphere. Again, in sphere voting, you can see firepower, cohesion, activity in terms of war. Are they going to actively declare wars or just sit there? FA presence, are they going to be like publicly present at all, or are they just radio silent like Rose usually is? And competence are the 5 categories your sphere will be judged by the audience on. So with that in mind, you're welcome to just throw out the first pick. If you want to attach a reason to it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Fair enough. Hey, I guess I do have a question, just to help qualify which alliances we can pick, and what goes with what. So, would Test remain with Eclipse, or are you counting those as 2 separate alliances?
So thank you for asking this, because I forgot to mention this. All training alliances are gone. I do not consider Test a training alliance simply because they've done this before and then flipped to other people. They're also not really like a training alliance for Eclipse. If you look at, like, for instance, Serpentis is a training alliance for Aurora. The Enterprise is a training alliance for the Syndicate. Like, these are direct training alliances in which you have nations, for instance, like up through City 10, as they're there, and then once they progress beyond a certain point, they get moved up. Test isn't, to my knowledge, isn't like that. And so not only does it fail to meet that definition, but they've also been seen to do wacky stuff in the past, and so I think it's just more fun if we leave them in the mix.
Okay. And I guess another question, is it as is, like as far as leadership and et cetera, just as it is right now? Or can we, like, in our head, like, just go with the lineup and then potentially adjust leadership, et cetera, of these different alliances?
So if you want to afterwards, like after your picks, say, I would rather have this under so-and-so or do this like this, you're welcome to. It's not a mandatory part of this at all. I personally won't be picking off of that, and if people want to use that as part of their strategy, absolutely go for it. But like, you, for instance, like, you can pick and have it under a different leadership, but do understand that, like, for instance, if somebody picks Rose, you can't then have somebody else pick Rose but say, I'm going to do this under a different leader. So once an alliance is picked, it's gone. But if you want to later on, like, I guess it's RP justification kind of thing. If you want to say, oh, I'm going to do it with this leader or this leadership group, we can do that.
All right. So are you ready for my first pick?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sketchy, I did think about doing that. That wasn't the works, but I'll try to do this to uphold the integrity of it, so it's fun for you guys too. I'll do Guardian with the first pick. And the reason I'm doing that is for the tiering and then their fighting capability, so the competency. They're incredibly loyal to whoever they end up signing, to a fault, some may say, because they've been with Grumpy for forever. But I'd go with Guardian number 1.
Guardian number 1. Okay, that is on the board.
Yep, Thalmor.
Yeah, that puts Thalmor up next.
Thank you very much. So I look at the criteria here, firepower, cohesion, activity, FA presence, competence. And I'm trying to think, if I got the whole game, I can pick one group of players, one group of killers to be in my corner. I would have to pick the Knights Radiant, hands down, because they got the competence, they got the bulk. Now look, I run these streets with Hand of Fate. Okay, I am ride or die, Hand of Fate for life. But in a vacuum, if I gotta pick one group of players, it's gotta be the orange people.
Fair choice. Chad, you're up.
You guys knocked off both what were going to be a couple of my top picks, but I was immediately good thinking Guardian, but just for pure meme purposes, not meaningfully, but I think I would be taking my original thinking came down to not Eclipse, but Guardian. Not I speak so many words today, but my original came down to Grumpy versus Test, but for reasons of just history and I'm gonna go Grumpy. They have solid cheering. They've been around for fucking ever, man. And there's not much you can say that except that they have some of the most mega wills in the game besides Test, and you need that for a competent block if you're going to try to compete high.
So we've got Grumpy. As Chad's, y'all are taking the good people out of here. Okay. Which leaves me with my first pick. And I think I'm going to have to play the bad guy here. Because I'm going to have to go with Rose. It's comparatively, it's a solid foundation. Granted, I'm probably not going to end up with a high cohesion rating. But in terms of just numbers, and then they've got a sprinkle of everything, I don't think there's really anyone else that comes close.
Yeah.
Oh, and Thalmor, just so you know, you don't have to run. If you want to run that on your own, you can run that through. But I do have in the running list of draft channel, I do have all of our picks going at the moment, so you don't have to manually throw it in main chat.
You are perfectly capable of managing it, but I want to do it in the background because you're running the show and it's easy to get distracted and lose count and go, what the fuck? So I'm doing it to help.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I'm also, just so everyone knows, trying to do the Treaty Web live, as in make all of the edits live. So it might take me a minute to catch up to wherever we're at. Go ahead, Kev. You've got pick number 2.
Yeah, so TKR would have been my pick. I'm gonna go. So to me, I've got 2 lanes thinking about this, right? I could go Hand of Fate because they're the best fighting alliance in the game, and then their tiering, they could match up pretty well with Guardian as well. However, I think I'm going to go with the more mass member approach just to cover additional tiering in case once we get later rounds, I want to have a solid fighting alliance that can help carry other tiers outside of that middle to high tier. So I'm going to go Eclipse.
Killing everyone here. Go for it, Thalmor.
Because Kev didn't pick us, then I think it's only natural that my number 2 would be the boys, the gang, the homies on the block, the Hand of Fate.
Hand of Fate goes to Thalmor.
Yep, and you know where I have to go with this. Since I said this would be a meme block, I'm taking Cindy.
And God, you guys are taking a number of good picks away from me here.
This block would obviously the cohesion is now completely tanked and last no longer than a couple weeks, but You have to take Cindy, since at that point though, where you're at the, it's like you're basically getting out corner off the green high tier, and you can effectively, in my block is effectively going to be a high tier centric block where you basically be sack versus low tier, which is meant to be a third party block mostly.
Fair enough. So you picked the Syndicate. Awesome. Let me update this. And I think this puts me at having to go ahead and take test. I can't leave any more whales on the table for everybody else. Well, not many more. So I'm going to have to go ahead and pull test. It's purely just denying you guys any more whale power.
Okay. That would have been my next choice.
Last ender, who did you pick again? Sorry, my audio cut.
Terminus Est.
Test.
All right, for my next pick, then I'm going to keep going with. Let's just, you know what? Let's remake what Clock was supposed to be. You know, I'm going to go ahead and grab Cataclysm here, because if you think about it, like the tiering again matches up. Kata and Eclipses, you know, worked well when they fought together in previous wars, right? I know the love's not, you know, maybe it's not as strong as it used to be. And then, like I said, Guardian's pretty easygoing. Like they're loyal to they're super loyal, so I think they'd be easy to work with regardless. So let's throw Eclipse and Kata in there for round 2 of Clock, basically.
Brilliant. Thalmoria, it falls to you. Pick 3.
Yeah, so like we're already at the point where I look around and like all the people with bulk have been taken, all the people with skill have been taken. So I think the pickings get pretty slim after this. I would say my number 3, probably Arg.
Arg.
Yeah, that's what it's going for next. Backup pick here, just because of pure like, because right now, as Thalmoria said, we're at the point where almost all the good stuff is now taken. So just as a complete screw up move, I'm taking TI.
The Immortals.
Because again, they're bulky and they basically their tiering isn't as good as what it could be, but if they're big enough to where they can run cover and they're last good with they're not, I would, it'd be a TI versus Cam situation for me here, but Cam doesn't, at last I checked, as good of a tiering as like TI does in terms of that. You're gonna still need a, so for the sphere though, the thing is that TI has to get into Cindy's range and Cindy has to get into Grumpy's range, so all of them can cover one another. So TI would be about as low as I would go. That's the thinking behind it.
Fair enough. He's taken TI, which leaves me in a tough pickle, doesn't it? So let's see here. If I am left wanting, then I might as well go all the way. And I'm going to grab PFP. There's really no reason or for this to have been, like, I'm not singling them out for any one reason here, but I do think that given the sheer other lack of quality alliances to be thrown here, not saying TFP is necessarily one of those, it's just numerically they're there, hearing wise they're not completely there, but they will line up.
So Thalmor, it's up to you.
Well, it's Kev's
Oh,
actually.
it's Kev, sorry.
That's all right. I just wanted to make sure in case you had any extra thoughts on it.
I don't
I
think.
mean, I think I've got to go. So we're taking into consideration everything, FA and everything.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's only to the extent that the audience takes it into consideration. So
right.
keep that in mind.
I'm gonna go, and you can claim bias all you want. I'm gonna go Paradise, and the reason I'm thinking that is I'm going cohesion, right? Because obviously when Eclipse and Kata work together with Aurora was kind of my other thing that I was thinking of. That didn't go so well when they were working together, right? There's a lot of drama between all three of them. I think being on the same page, I think Paradise would fit into that grouping a little bit better. And the tiering again is also there. So as long as they replace at least one of their leaders, like the Kev guy is pretty rough, but if they replace him, I think they'd be in a good spot.
Damn, how do you have Kevin in your sphere? Damn, tough scene.
All right. Paradise goes to Kev.
Oh, and then real quick, I'm gonna Benzene. Paradise is carrying Rose's net right now. Paradise had way more info than Kata did. There's a lot of people at 2.5. Kata was at 17. But anyway, carry on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thalmor, your call.
The synergy cohesion argument is compelling to me. And so for my number 4 to go with the Knights Radiant, I'm going to pick Black Knights.
Black Knights. Okay. And I do want to ask, because I appear to have wildly underestimated the amount of time these things take, will you need to appoint somebody to finish up your picks?
I think I can stay.
Okay.
1040 is my hard
make
cutoff.
sure. Okay, I just want to make sure. Cad,
Yep.
you are good to go.
But like this could be a controversial one here. But I'm picking House Stark. I know it's actually a controversial one here, but let me explain my thinking. Right now, the sphere's cohesion is absolutely shot. And if we're actually playing for cohesion here, you can't put in Aurora. Because Aurora like they don't with a couple of the people in the group. And then there's a few more people I'm gonna add into the group later who I don't think they're gonna play well with. So I'm gonna put in House Stark since they've worked in the past relatively solidly with Cindy, and I have no doubt since I think knowing people who are there, I think will work well with others. So I think they're there to basically be a glue alliance. They'll keep the alliance together relatively solidly, and like be peacemakers in a sphere that's gonna have a lot of elements who are more willing to fight with one another. Not the pick.
This makes sense and is a compelling argument to me. So, this leaves my hands incredibly tied. Looking at the top few alliances that are already gone, picking Camelot is going to give the same cohesion concerns as Chad said with picking Aurora. Because Camelot is, kind of known for that stuff. They've got a history with Rose. However, they are currently tied with TFP. And I guess depending upon how you arrange the treaties, because if you look at a sphere, I mean, for instance, Camelot right now isn't tied to House Stark in our real world scenario. And I mean, even like Carthago isn't tied to the Black Knights. They're just a mutual ally. So given that consideration and the fact that Camelot could come along as a TFP ally, Whereas Aurora, I'm not certain how I would fit them in. I'm gonna have to go ahead and swipe Camelot.
Solid pick.
Surprised you didn't pick. Why didn't you pick Aurora there?
I wasn't at all sure how I would fit them in terms of like cohesion. I could go for Aurora, but they'd be a great pick in terms of firepower and tiering and all of that jazz. But I mean, Camelot's been through how much and is still standing. The second thing is that I know I can bring Camelot on into the sphere as like a tie through TFP. So just have it be like Camelot is allied to TFP. They don't necessarily have to ally Rose to be considered part of a sphere. I mentioned like Carthago and BK are both part of the withheld sphere, and yet they don't have a tie. So I already know that Camelot is working with TFP. This is obvious if you look at the treaty web. So they'll flow in that sense. If that makes sense.
Sure.
You
I
don't
don't know.
have to tie. You don't have to tie everybody.
Right. Like I would have picked Aurora last round if the drama with clock didn't happen, just for But on this round, then if it's my turn, I'm gonna go ahead and I have to pick Aurora here. Then I'll risk it, the drama on it, because people will learn to get together. That kind of a block, like that's just gonna be is a stud of a block. I think I got to go with Aurora here. Then if it fell this far down, they're like the Brock Purdy in this draft here. Holy smokes!
Yeah, no, solid pick, but it's like I'm not gonna give my entire strategy here right now, though. But I will play in a later on this draft. I have a play I'm about to make, and I think is gonna start making a lot more sense in a minute.
Thalmoria, I think it falls to you.
Yep.
What are we thinking here? God, Aurora has so many trees. Calm down.
I was looking at the tiering, and I think my next pick, it pains me so, it's going to be the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth?
Was not on my radar, I'll put it that way.
Why don't you pick WTF?
I think
that was a definite WTF.
Well, I think the Commonwealth has some bulk in it, and I think that might synergize some with Hand of Fate and the Knights Radiant.
Commonwealth. Interesting call. Yep. Chad, where's this magic mystic pick that's going to tie everything together?
Sketchy. You beat me to the punch. BOB. My next pick is going to be Oblivion. Because I'm shocked you guys let them fall so low. And I would say I'm going to take Oblivion here, since I'm utterly shocked you guys let me take them, since they work perfectly tiering wise. Cohesion wise, I know it would probably be a mess and a half, but to a boss's point, yes, they are, but they're hyper competent. Obviously, because all one person running them. So I'll take them for the pure cohesion reasons. I'll take Oblivion.
Damn, that was my pick.
Fair.
That was my pick.
This is fair. This leaves me in a similar pickle as before, doesn't it? Well, let's see here. Where is? Well, I don't like that. If we're gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Legion. Welcome, Kiwi. You're mine now.
That's my next pick.
Just they line up so beautifully with the whatchamacallit. They line up so beautifully with the tiering, and there's no existing conflict that I'm aware of at the moment. Because I don't have any former backrooms people yet. So there's no existing conflict. They're currently paperless, so it's not like I'm pulling them from people or pushing them to people. And it's just an all-around good pick to add in to what is trying to be the only upper tier that can fight off Chad's Grumpy. Although, Kev, we've all got solid builds here. It's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out.
I mean, we're getting into the back half of it, which is this is gonna be a grind to find.
Oh no, this is the fun part. This is gonna be the really fun part where we all just get like random shit tiers.
Okay, I think is it my turn?
It is your turn. It's all yours.
Okay, cool. I am going to go with. I know who I'm doing. I might go with Mayhem to fit that tiering.
Mayhem.
Ooh, that's a solid.
He's pulling. I'm. It's the whales. All these minor whale alliances. You watch are all gonna start disappearing as we use them as excuses to fill in the tiering there.
Mayhem's more like mid to high. I mean, like the upper mid, I think is their tiering, right?
Their average score is 45-34.
I think they've got.
They're generally C20, mid C20 to upper or low C30. Excuse me.
They only have 8. Actually, scratch that 6 people above C30, and then 2 at 29, but the rest are kind of scattered.
The question is, is Thalmoria going to be the one to grab the World Task Force?
At this point, he might as well.
Are you kidding? You're kidding? I want that
blue
polar order, baby. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was looking at the treaty web. I was looking at the treaty web. I was like, oh fuck, where's a middle alliance that won't make people laugh at me if I pick? I found it. I found the perfect one. House Stark. I'll add House Stark to my little pile.
You missed it. Chad picked that last round, or 2 rounds ago now.
No, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
you can look in the running list of drafts if you need an update, but
damn.
Dude, yeah, Thalmoria. I wish you would have told me you were doing like a meme. I would have went for that.
It's all right.
Hold on one second, Sally.
Plebonism. Oh, okay.
Plebonism. Okay, that's fine. Chad, say something. No, I have you at max and I don't hear anything. You're out in terms of your mic.
His screen circle wasn't even coming on.
Yeah, I did hear static briefly.
Okay, is it working now?
Yes, you're back.
Okay.
Yep.
Weebinism, Thalmoria? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, Weebinism. Thalmoria is going anime.
I'm doing it. Fuck it. I'm taking what the fuck. I'm doing it, man.
Oh boy.
The world task. We're at that point, man. But no, we're being serious though. They actually jive with my tiering pretty well. Because right now, shockingly, their average world task force average score right now is running about a 4.7k average score. No, they're not great, but they actually have let me read off the stat line. They have 7 C30s, like 1 C35, 2 C36s, 1 C38, and a C40. So they actually have the tiering for my sphere to work.
The question is, are you going to be able to get them to fight?
Wait, no. It's a low round pick where if they don't, who cares? Well, if they do, it's a big win. So that's it's for me like a mid round pick, which is it just whichever way it runs, I win. I can either do nothing or win.
World Task Force goes to Chad, which thankfully y'all left me the one that I wanted. Which I'm taking the Dead Rabbits because again,
Solid.
I'm watching for trying to keep that upper tiering game going at the moment. At the moment doesn't mean that that's going to be long term, but at the moment, I think we're all trying to compete with each other for the upper tiering game. And dead rabbits are generally C20 to C30 area. They've got an average score of 4.4K, and I think they will jive well with whatchamacallit. They've got the tiering, and if you want to talk synergy, they still have they have ties right now to TFP and Camelot, which means forget about tying them into everybody else. Like they've worked with Rose before. I don't know if that was a good relationship or not, but they've worked with Rose before, so that prior whatnot is there. And then they're currently allied with the Fighting Pacifists and Camelot. So I think it's good synergy wise. I think it's good tiering wise. And I have to take them before one of you all get that group.
Hey, Lysander, if you end up doing this again, I'd recommend maybe doing it snake draft style. So, like, we go down, right? So you're last now, but then second round you go first, and then we go back up.
Yeah.
And then down, and then up, and then down, and then up.
We'll do it next time.
It'd probably be, I can even do that if for like any audience drafts that we have time to do, which I mean, I'm going to be here if I can up until midnight, folks. I know many people won't be able to be here till then, but so long as I stay awake and there are people still willing to be drafting, I'll be here.
Yeah, I gotta go. Let's go like an hour 30 now, so let's keep it.
I mean, I'll go. So is it my turn now? Or?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go dark. I'll go Dark Brotherhood.
Ooh, solid pick.
Nice call. Any specific reasoning, or just?
I mean, just if you look at what's left on here, I think they're the best alliance left. Is what I'm going by.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I mean, they've performed pretty well the last few wars they've been in. So the tiering fits with like the kind of like because they're lower mid, and so that helps buff up Kata and Eclipse's lower mid too. So I mean, it ends up fitting pretty well.
That it does. Valley.
So, I think my next pick's going to be the Legion because
I already stole them. You keep repicking.
Oh my gosh! Maybe I should like pay attention and like read.
Maybe.
Okay, so let me do my wild card pick then. And I've been eyeballing them for 3 picks, and I'm gonna go with them now. I'm gonna pull the trigger. Church of Adam.
Church of Adam. I'll have to say
They can just sit there and
that. Yeah, that's a good call.
Because worst comes to worst, they can just sit there and throw nukes for 1 million net each. There's 16 of them over the course of a month. It's not nothing for 16 people who don't know what they're doing.
I don't think this is a bad pick at all.
I'm up next here. So I know it doesn't jive with my tiering perfectly, and this isn't good for cohesion, but that's why I took the HS earlier. Effectively, so I can do things like this. I'm taking UPN because it's what's left effectively. Not much I can really take, so take you.
I'll be honest here. There's not a lot left. So let's see. I've got 3 options here. I'm looking at all of them right now. And I'm thinking, yeah. I don't know how they've been allowed to go this long. I think the only negative jive they'd have here officially would be potentially with the Legion. Although I don't know entirely, but the main one would have to be Camelot. However, they don't have to necessarily be directly linked. We'll see. I'm pulling Carthago. because if you look at their tiering, they're going to allow me, they're providing some C30 support, but they're also beginning to get into the lower tier area, which is where we're heading. The fighting pacifists could use some support in that area. And I think it's about time that I thread these guys, I thread all the tiers together rather than focusing on just a little bit more high tier that can potentially be rolled by an organized lower tier. Because if I, like, for instance, I'm just going to put this out there, I don't have the most militarily competent alliances in the game. That's not to say they're trash, but when you look at alliances like the Syndicate, who do fairly well, or even put in Oblivion under Chad, Thalmoria has TKR, Hand of Fate, ARG, and BK. And Kev's got Guardian, Eclipse, and Cataclysm. Plus, then you've got like Paradise and Aurora, people that have been in wartime. I'm not going to outdo them in terms of competence. So the only way I'm going to successfully match them is by having a solidly threaded tier. It's my thinking.
So that's solid.
Kev.
All right. I am this next pick. I'm going to go ahead and assume that we'll put the stipulation for them joining this block is that they have to do what they're told as far as wartime goes. Because I've only fought with them once and they're terrible to deal with. But that was when Buck was there. So I'm going to go with Yar. And that's so Chad doesn't take him to further his.
Damn it, that's where I was going
padding.
next.
So I got to go with Yar.
You ass, that's where I was going. That would be my death nail for you.
I don't know, be death nail. I think it'd definitely be a positive thing.
That made pretty well.
Yeah.
No,
I know. So that'd be sketchy. That'd be the stipulation is they'd have to fight in order to join the block. So that's laid it out there.
Which is fair. And that gives you a solid area.
I have a shit post idea for my next one. So get ready, it's gonna be dumb.
I believe, Thalmoria, it is your call.
I think the next best pick that I can salvage from this mess would probably be Bourbon Street.
Good call.
He's going. I'm gonna take Requiem here.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're my ally. That would have been the way to go.
I ignored them because they're 57 out of whatchamacallit. They're below 50. So I ignored them for that particular reason. Where did I?
Although they're small, they have like no.
Thalmoria, you picked. Thalmoria, remind me of your pick.
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street. That was it. Thank
you. You can have ER if you want, Chad. I'll take Requiem.
No, I'm very fine. I'll keep my Requiem, please and thank you. I'll keep my Requiem.
Okay.
Bourbon Street.
That's obviously, Requiem is a super simple one. It's that they have the tiering I need, basically, and they have like incredibly skilled, and for my purposes, quite well tiered people who can work with people who, like, Oblivion protects them and House Dark protects them for my case. Like, it works. They're solid.
That they are. So let's see here. Oops. Okay. This is gonna be tough, isn't it? Adjusting all these treaties on the fly is a hell of a thing, let me tell you. Requiem. Okay. So I'll be honest, I'm at a loss. I don't know who to go for. I think there are a few. There are only a few options. I can either continue trying to fight for the last few remaining higher level alliances in terms of just large nations. But FARC isn't going to work. I forget their synergy. I just don't want them in the sphere. And this leaves me in a predicament because I have to find a good alliance that has relatively even tiering. I think because I have no one else to go for. I apologize for dragging this out. I'm going to go with the Coven.
Next.
And it's not only, I know I said just because I have no one else to go with. That's not the only reason. They're lower tier generally, at least as it stands currently. They've got the potential to grow there. They've done how many war weeks? They're going to know the front end of their gun from the back end. And so, I mean, I could continue fighting for the last few survivors, or I can begin actually smoothing out a lower tier. And I think smoothing out the lower tier is going to be the best option for me.
All right. I'm just going on basis of who's left. I'm going to go with the former IKEA folk because I know they can fight. So we'll do Serene Republica, Fiorentina? SRF? I don't know how to.
Just like
Just butcher it.
maybe
Yeah, that's what we do
it's
here.
too late. It's too late. So I'll work with Matcha. Heck yeah. Let me go SRF next.
All right.
Thalmoria,
sorry.
your pick.
Sorry, Matcha.
Thalmoria, your pick.
Thalmor.
So Thalmoria.
So SRF was
And he
my
picked-
next pick. So I think I will go with the Lost Empire.
No.
I'm sorry. Honestly, they were gonna, for me, slot in before probably even UPN with kind of tiering. But after that war performance, where what's their net right now? Can someone check this for me? And is it -5 or -6 billion? Because I know they're losing by a lot in a war they're dogpiling. Like that
No idea.
turned me off of them so horribly. Like I couldn't even touch them.
I have two alliances I'm going for right now. The question is whether or not
Okay.
Chad's going to screw me over. Go for it,
No.
Chad.
Potentially. Because right now, I'm screaming bottom of the barrel since right now I'm literally now gonna say this, but this is gonna be an absolute shit post of a pick. I'm qualifying this. This is gonna be this is an objectively shitty pick for the sphere if it was a real sphere. It'll be objectively god awful. If I'm looking through these things logically and like for tiering purposes only, like where I personally start to of them, probably not my pick. I'm taking ASM. Only because they have only because they have people who are tiered into the right area.
That is
This
a
was
hell of a way to destroy your cohesion.
No, it's good tank cohesion. I know this because I know there are certain people, especially in ASM, whose politics will divide in a way that is not good for the sphere. But this is going to be a caveat with. I'm going to take a one that Kev did, which was a Kev caveat. That Kev did. Was it the
Like changing
DR?
the leadership or whatever?
You mean with DR? Like saying that they have to
They
fight?
have to fight. I'm gonna
Ah,
caveat with them. They are not allowed to talk about politics in any sphere chats at all, and they're not allowed to talk
more or
politics
less
with
the
other
caveat.
people.
The caveat is shut up. More or less
No,
the
the caveat
caveat.
is you're not allowed to talk about anything related to politics unless prompted by the other side. You're not allowed to bring up politics. It's a literal caveat. You're not allowed to talk
So-
about that.
this actually leaves open the group that I wanted, and wanted is a strong word, but I think they've spent some time with what's their name? Oh, TKR. They spent a good amount of time under TKR, and so I think that well, let me see here. There's one other potential option, but do I want them or not? No, I think God, life is so hard.
Doesn't even matter really. Nothing really matters.
Oh, it matters here. I'm going to pick Federated States of Orbis. I'm doing it.
Not them saying anything yet, but has anyone taken a name withheld yet?
No, I think people forgot about him.
No, please. Are you gonna?
Well,
You people do that. I'm gonna have to
I
pick
know,
as you will. Pick as you will.
yeah, but
Kev, it's your last pick. Did I lose the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kev.
No,
I'm interrupting you.
I don't think I'm actually gonna pick name withheld. Hold on.
Sketchy saying I lost the upper tier in round 3. I probably, yeah.
yeah, no, my
But
my upper tier is most solid actually, which
I tried.
if we're looking at this, my C40 plus, like everything of
All right, Kev, I think it's your pick, isn't it?
I think you're right.
yeah.
Pick
I'm looking at
10.
name
Last pick of your sphere, Kev. Last call.
Thinking if do I pad the upper tier even more? I'm thinking yes. But okay. Forgive me, this is a toughie.
Take your time. We all have.
I'll be back in like 30 minutes then.
Well, Thalmor will have to disappear by then, so don't make Thalmor disappear.
Okay. I am going to pick name withheld.
Yeah, that's the obvious back in there. Thalman, you're up.
Fair pick.
I'm going to go with Gato because there's 70 of them.
So
Martin,
we've
this next
got
one.
name withheld. Hold on. Let me catch up here. Name withheld.
What Gato?
Global Alliance and Treaty Organization. These are fair picks I'm seeing.
Okay. And my next one. It's gonna be unpopular as all hell. Let me check this since I currently have 2 alliances on my. I have 2 alliances who are on my radar. It's Way and NPO, New Polar Order, or whatever.
I'll be
Polaris,
honest; those are really who I was looking at too. I don't see anyone else left.
You have the Hive. You have Mindsome's Alliance. Huh?
Like I said, I don't see anyone else left.
Like Mindsome's
Morningstar. They're tiered for you.
Let me check Way because what I'm obviously wasn't looking this far down the bottom of the barrel between NPO and between Polaris and Way wasn't when I was making a Google sheet. This wasn't the thing I was thinking of, man. I'll put it that way.
That's why I told you, Chad. You can make that. You can.
No, I made a bit of it. Like I did know for my first few picks, I did it all, which is why I had like why I took House Starks because I knew what I was gonna do. But so let me explain my thinking here. Like Polaris has 24 members. Wei has 64, so that's a win in Wei's column. With Wei, their average score is about just cracks 2000s. Polaris is 4.5k. Wei doesn't have consistent tiering. Wei's only consistent tiering is around C4, C20, and C10, and with a small C24 and C25 block. Polaris, on the other hand, has a solid tiering between C27 to C30. I have to take Polaris, not because I like them over Wei even, but Polaris just has the tiering. Polaris is the better tiering for me.
Who's
Because
going
of corners
to
off
the
the-
Immortals smaller nations? Just they're on their own?
Basically, you gotta sack them, but a ton of my other spears in here, like UBN has smaller guys, not DB, sorry, House Stark has smaller guys, TI has smaller guys, Cindy, I think, comes with ES, so they also have smaller guys, but side is still negligible, but it exists.
I am going to go ahead and pick somebody that I don't think has even remained on the radar. And I will get to that in just a moment. Yes, I am leaving all of you in suspense as I adjust the 8 million treaties that have congealed due to me consistently moving them off of the alliances that we've been picking. So, unfortunately, I will go ahead and say the limitations of the tool I am working with, which there would be no, more or less, I guess you'd call them hand-drawn, kind of. There would be none of those kinds of treaty webs without this tool. But the issue is that it is incredibly painful to work with due to the fact that I can only create ODPs. I cannot create MDOAPs. I cannot create what else are they? The MDPs, prots. None of those are available to me because of how things are unfortunately set up. So with that, my pick is the Minutemen, formerly known as the Soldiers of Liberty.
Look, that's the perfect way for this draft to end, was solving the mile pick. But that's the most like perfect way to end it.
Sketchy said quite clearly that I stood very little chance at winning in terms of high tier, and he's right. But the Minutemen do have a low tier. Not only that, they've shown in the past, when provided the proper circumstances, they will actually push for trying to improve. And with that, I think they've got to be the pick, because they'll actually try, and they've got a lower tier. So, with that about wraps up our spheres. So, if Kev, would you mind reading off your sphere to the public as the last kind of mention of it?
Sure. So my sphere, known as Hank Schrader in the Funky Bunch, is Guardian, Eclipse, Cataclysm, Paradise, Aurora, Mayhem, Dark Brotherhood, Yar, Serene Republica, Fiorentina, and Name Withheld.
More next.
More?
Just read it off.
The Knights Radiant, the Hand of Fate, Org, Black Knights, the Commonwealth, Weebinism, Church of Adam, Bourbon Street, the Lost Empire, the Global Alliance and Treaty Organization.
Yep. Some of them from my sphere, which I've colloquially named "This won't live longer. This won't survive longer than a week." Be Grumpy Old Bastards, The Syndicate, The Immortals, House Stark, Oblivion, Task Force, UPN, United Purple Nations, Requiem, Advanced Nuclear Machines, and the New Polar Order.
And that leaves me with, we'll call it the trial sphere, because that's all this is a trial. I've got Rose, Terminus Est, the Fighting Pacifists, Camelot, the Legion, Red Rabbits, Carthago, the Coven, Federated States of Orbis, and the Minutemen. Now, I'm going to ask Chad, do you have an email that you can send me for this game, or for Politics and War, that I can share access with to a sheet? I would love aid, if possible, in updating a few things. I am using a copy, as I said, of DNN's tiering sheet, but it is it's nigh unto impossible for me to run through everything by hand. So if you, or if there's a volunteer who would be able to aid in this, I would greatly appreciate help. I'll tell you who to put as what, in terms of like Chad's is going to be this name, etc. But I need aid with actually getting it to work.
So, real quick, Lysander, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun, but I gotta bounce. Good night. Do this again
Absolutely.
sometime. Bye-bye.
See you, dude.
Thank you, Thalmor. That or any volunteers at random. Just because I cannot by hand do all of this quickly. I can do it all, but I can't guarantee you that it'll be quick. So I finished everyone's but my own at the moment. And so what's the point of this? Well, my friends, what you all are going to get to see is, let's just go ahead and, can I move all of this? I should be able to. I'm going to move all these little lovely micro nanos out of the way, and I will give you all a screenshot. You get to vote on each of the spheres that have been created today. All you're going to see are the ODPs at the moment. Unfortunately, Thalmor will not have the opportunity to expand and add depth to his. However, that's fine. I think you all will get the gist of how things work, even without them being expanded. So I am currently saving all of these at the moment. Oh dear. Well, I am currently trying to save all of these at the moment. And then as soon as they're able to go, I'll have them uploaded. So first sphere we did was Kev's. And I am going to drop that momentarily. And what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to do this based out of just a simple rating, 1 through 5. So, upload a file. And we're going to go ahead and find, here's Kev's sphere. Rating 1 through 5. Firepower. And let me add all the reactions here first, my friends, and then you go for it. 5 is the greatest. 1 is the weakest. Actually, Chad and or Kev, if I just throw these messages in, can you react to them 1 through 5 for me?
Sure. Should we do 1 through 5 or 1 through 4? So then it could be like a stack ranking. Yeah. You know what I mean?
As in,
like who has the best, who has the second best, who has the third best, who has the fourth best. You know?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, just do it that way. Yep. See, this is why we have the man himself that invented this here doing it. Because he knows what he's talking about. And so then you all are free to go ahead. I'm adding them now, but you're welcome to jump in, my lovely listeners. I will begin taking whatchamacallit, volunteers for our next draft in a moment. Or actually, I'm probably just gonna random number through the audience, and you can let me know if you're able to come on, and if you're not, you're not. That's okay.
Hey, real
Ratings
quick, is it one being like number one, the best?
Sure.
You know?
We'll do it that way.
One will be the best, 4 will be the worst. Okay.
Yep, so 1 good, 4 bad, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. If somebody can run through and just put in good grief, in 1 through 4 on Thalmoria's sphere, that'd be great. A bit scuffed, but everything in Thalmoria is, and so that's how we like it. There's Chad's. Okay. So unfortunately, I don't think, just due to time constraints, I don't think we're going to be able to expand each. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the winners from each draft, and we'll compare them. Not ours, obviously, because we're drafting 10. Everyone else will be drafting like 5, 7, somewhere in that range. So no one's going to be like, ours aren't going to be able to be in there because we're not going to compare, but other people's might. There we go. I think this is, yes. So again, first is the best, fourth is the worst. We're going to see who gets the most what. You may also vote. I believe it's just duck that's being put in there, but your vote is invalid if that's all you vote. So I recommend voting something other than just duck.
FA presence for Thalmors? Who's doing FA besides Morph in that block?
Probably nobody.
Yeah, I guess Morph. Hey, Morph strong, huh?
Morph sorry, that's a 5. That's a 1 on that. And then Morph is truly just too strong. I don't know what else to say, man. Morph man, good. Morph
Thank
man
you to
is
whoever is
strong.
putting 9s in all of the. But thank
Too
you,
true. That's
Bob.
just
I
too true,
appreciate
too
it
true.
so much. So you will all go ahead and vote. You'll have more time than just.
Yeah, Valenti's good too, but outside of that,
you'll have more than just a couple minutes, because you can still vote. I'm not going to announce the previous round's winners until we're done with the next round. So you'll have time to vote. Take your time, think about it, and our spheres are there. Whoever wins each round, and whoever wins this round, is going to get the opportunity to kind of construct their spheres a little more, just for fun. However, I think that is going to about cover things. Would you all like a tiering list? Or is that something that you have no interest in? Let's see. Not seeing any yeses and I'm not seeing any nos. Where are all these messages coming from? Good grief. Oh, there we go. Is there any opinion?
Yeah, I'll say, Kev, you did really good on that. You again, the voting system wasn't perfect since you got a lot for extra firsts, obviously, but honestly, Kev, you beat. I could have won there if I took Eclipse earlier. You just absolutely cock blocked me, which was like fair play on you. Good job.
Thanks, buddy.
It's like I knew I should have taken him. You immediately in my head, I wasn't saying it. Like in my head, I was like when I took Cindy before Eclipse in my head, then we looked at it. I was like, "Fuck, man, that was a dumb one."
Yeah, snake style draft would have been more fair. But
I would say if you also would weigh it, I was also in voting if you weighed picks, I get more leniency than let's say Kev does because I get a worse positioning. I think that'd also be a bit more fair.
I think snake's just the best way of doing it.
Obviously, but because
Well,
we are
if
where we are now.
people really enjoy, and it seems like people do, then I'd be happy to do another of these in the future. If this is something that we want to become a regular staple, I'm more than happy. Not necessarily every show, but once a month at random. I think that I could definitely arrange that.
That'd be fun.
I'd be down. Like if when I'm on break, because when I got time, I'll hop. Like we could do themed ones. Since there's a dumb one I was thinking of, like micro. You're only allowed to do under 50, and you would just see like
Yeah,
how
in the future, I absolutely that might be a
be a hoot.
so I think
I won.
all right. Here's the tiering, first of all. Let's just drop this. For reference, I'm going to tag everybody's here. Let's see.
I don't understand why people are voting cohesion on mine for third place. So if you look at it, name withheld, they're a coattail rider. SRF, like they're pretty easy going. From if anyone's worked with Matcha, as long as you're good with like doing some fun random stuff from time to time, he's easy to go with. Dark Brotherhood, they're easy to work with.
I don't think I completely blew the upper tier. Looking at it.
Who do you have? You got Rose and Test.
Well, if you look, I put the tiering chat in the main Lyon broadcast, and you don't. I think I match fairly well with any one of you. And my hardest war in terms of upper tier would be Chad.
Sketchy, just so you know, the ranking system 1 through 4, it's who has the best. So whoever has the FA power or whatever, the FA presence, whoever has the best would then get a 1 vote. Or whoever has the best cohesion out of the 4 would get the 1 vote, and then it goes down. Whoever you think has the second best, etc.
Oh, and whoever I don't know if it was you, Kev, or if it was Chad, but I'm not planning on voting, so you can.
I voted big time. Stacked the votes.
I voted like as a dipshit. All my votes were completely scattered around. I just didn't care. I just voted randomly on the entire thing.
Whoever set up the 1 through 4 for me, I don't know who it was. It might not have been somebody listening, but whoever it was, thank you. You can go ahead and vote. I have now reacted to every 1 through 4. So you're all good. Thank you. Go ahead and vote. So currently we've got the largest rating in terms of firepower seems to be going Kev quite handily.
Then I slot pretty solidly into 2, which is like meh. That's about what I could have expected.
Second place, is going to Tad. And third place is going to, well, I think it's a tie, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, then tie for 3. Interesting.
I have more people putting me in 4th, so we'll throw it to Thalmor there. Cohesion. I have more people putting me in 2nd, but it's a tie between me and Chad. So, or not me and Chad, me and Thalmor, excuse me. So Thalmor gets 1st in cohesion. I get 2nd. This is all going to change. We're just looking at this right now. But it's interesting. Thalmor is actually, he leads on a lot of these. Yeah. Activity through competence, he's leading. It's interesting.
Competence? Really?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Hand of Fate, you have TKR. That's it.
Common.
That's literally it. The rest of them are what? Like ARG is a rating alliance. They don't do alliance.
He's ahead of you. He's ahead of you by 1.
How does that work?
No idea. I just know that looking tiering wise, it's interesting how everybody matches up. Kev, you have 134 nations in the C27 to C30 range, which is just incredible.
Suck it, nerds. The power of picking first.
So yeah, Chad is more or less modern day Hog, or this world's Hog. He's got the least amount of nations, but he outweighs everybody in 35 and up.
Perfect.
What's 35 to 40?
35 to 39 is relative. I mean, he's got 46. I have 32. Thalmor has 31, and you have 28. So he's got a solid lead there. And then it just grows 40 to 44, and then 45 plus. So, Kev, you're at 520 nations, but you're a very solid mid-range player there. Thalmor and I are kind of more evenly lined up, but I have more nations, so I just generally outweigh him, which is interesting. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run a couple of polls here, and let's see. Let's do... Do you guys want a Google form? Would that be easier for like a war poll? 1 in the chat for Google form for a war poll, 2 for not. Just reactions. This is going to be multiple war polls because it's going to be multiple matchups. Okay, here it is. No one wants a Google form. And so this is just going to be 1 or 2. 1 is going to be the first name. 2 is going to be the second. So those are all of Kev's. And okay. Fantastic. All should be up.
Hey, Lysander, you didn't the graphics. You have Kev's, and then you have the graphic, then you have Thalmor's, and then you don't have Chad's or yours listed under the actual like Tree Web graphic. Just so you know.
Thank you. There,
No problem.
they're in there now. And so I'm also, just for easy reference, because we've got the spheres in there, I'm going to go ahead and drop peering in there. And then vote, have fun, live your life. And we'll revisit this either at the end or during an intermission of next thing. Yeah, vote for both if you think it's a toss-up, or just don't vote. Doesn't make a difference. So thank you, Kev and Chad, you lovely gentlemen, for coming on. Again, thank you to the ghost of Thalmor, who is no longer with us. And
Well, as we all know, he's just fully dead. He's never coming back.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna go ahead and at random, I'm going to poll. I think, how many did we say? Let's check, shall we? Ooh, how many people? We wanted 7, 8, so around 7 people. I'll poll at random. This is gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be fun. So thanks again. I'm gonna go ahead, unless there's anything else, I'm gonna move both you, Chad, and you, Kev, into the audience, and we'll revisit the top dogs of our world of Orbis later on.
Nice. Thanks for having me on, man. It was fun.
See you, man.
Thank you for coming on, both of you.